There we are. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Who we got here? JJ's here. Gloria's in here. Janet is here. Delbert Jones is in the house. The Garden Life. Dale from Ohio. Bobby Farron. Good to see everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope everybody is doing well. Hope you guys have had a good day. I kept waiting like all day here. It was like the forecast was rain all day rain. And I kept waiting and waiting and waiting. It was overcast. We had a sprinkle here and there. We did finally get a little bit of rain, but not nothing to worry about. So I was like, okay then. But but I did get work done. So I had a goal in my head. I'm like, this is. I was like, even earlier in the week, I'm like, okay, what day am I going to do this? And I knew it was. I looked at the forecast, and like I said, it was supposed to be raining all day, which obviously it never did rain all day, but got to it, got it done. Pretty happy with the way everything turned out. So there was some nasty flooding in the Midwest. Oh yeah, they got hammered out there. It's so weird how you know how things go. What here's the thing that like kills me, and I'm not like I said, I don't judge anybody. Okay, I really truly do not. I mean, who am I to judge anyone, right? But when you live in an area, right? If you live in a valley, right? You live in a valley, you have to expect, and if there's, if you have a river or whatever, you got to expect that at some point you're going to be affected by that. I mean, you just have to. I mean, I live up in the hills. Guess what I expect up here? I expect wind, you know. But Delbert said, add 20 plus inches of rain in 3 days. That's crazy. That's crazy amount. That's an unbelievable. Yeah, that's a lot of rain. That is a lot of rain. So, hey, 80K man, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. But yeah, that's just I don't know. It's the weather's been absolutely nuts. So, have you purchased a kayak yet? No, no, I do not have a kayak. Like I said, if I get flooding up here, I need the ark. That's what I need because it's like if it's that bad, then that's where we're at. So, all right. Before we jump into anything, I just want to remind everybody that this is a very family friendly oriented channel. I would ask you all to please be decent in the chat. Uh, no racism, no nastiness. If you cannot abide by those very simple, easy rules, those awesome people lit up in blue with the blue wrenches are going to boot you out of here because we're not going to tolerate it. Usually it gets at least one every stream, wants to play little games. But I got great moderators, and they get rid of the childish ones pretty quickly. Pretty quickly. But no, like I said, I was pretty happy how everything turned out. You'll see in the upcoming videos, um, what I got done. But like I said, I was really happy how it all worked out. So anyhow, so that's what's going on there. Hmm. So anyway, I hope everybody had a good weekend. I hope you got some stuff done, staying on point. It's just it's I just want to keep making forward progress, getting something done. That's where I'm at. I'm like, so I'm gonna keep getting stuff done. I'll be happy with that. You know, just keep making progress. Looking forward to next weekend. Next weekend's our get together weekend, and hopefully we don't get rain ahead of time. And I was looking at the forecast. Actually, let me take a look at that because if we don't have rain, then Rob is going to planning on bringing down the. See, they're saying that we're going to get rain through the night. I don't know. We'll see. It was supposed to, like I said, it was supposed to rain all day, but it didn't. Just trying to look here ahead. And probably too early to tell, but we'll see how it goes. But hopefully it doesn't rain. If it doesn't rain, Rob's planning on bringing down the cabinets. We're going to try to get those installed, get them in. As long as Johnson doesn't drive through the grass again. I'm hoping, JJ, that Johnson learned his lesson. Oh, hold on 1 second, guys. Mom, I'm doing a live stream right now. All right, call me after 9 o'clock. All right, I love you. Bye, Mom. It's one of those you always got to be like, all right, I got it, I got it. I could tell her 100 times, Mom, I'm doing a live stream Sunday, 8 o'clock. Okay, Mom, I'm doing a live stream Sunday, 8 o'clock. Okay, she's gonna call. She don't remember. So, she's too funny. She is too funny. But man, I'll tell you what though, these freaking puppies. I haven't weighed them again, but I know they're bigger. They just keep getting bigger. So my brother in Pittsburgh is getting snow right now. Crazy, it's 75 here in Gainesville, Florida. Yeah, what are we at? Let me take a look. I'll tell you right where we're at. Yeah, we're at 57. I mean, yesterday it was 82 degrees here yesterday, and today I think we were at 61, something like that. What I like, what I like about this time of year, okay, especially with being outside and get things done, uh, the bugs aren't out in full force yet. They will be. They will be. Um, but they're not out in full force yet. And it's cool enough where you can work and you're not going to work up a sweat. So you're not like drenched and soaked in sweat, but it's still comfortable enough to be out. Like I wore, I had long johns, t-shirt, and then I put a sweatshirt over the top while I was working, in the pavilion with the installation. I didn't want to, I did with the, and then of course I had on a bandana to help, which it definitely helped. So we had a 68-degree next day, an ice storm and snow, and then thunderstorm, all within 48 hours. That's yeah. Well, you're way up there though, man. You're way up northern New York, so that's kind of to be expected up where you are. But it's just like I said, I'm ready for good weather. I've definitely had enough of the whole winter thing. So I mean, we are technically in spring now, so it's time to be spring like. But we had 2 days. We had 2 days. One day was 78. The next day was 82. Really nice, really mild. I was sitting out here the other night, and it was like 65 degrees at 1 in the morning. I was like, how crazy is this? But but like I said, getting things done while you're not dying. Like this weekend, when everybody comes, the weather's going to be like in the 50s during the day and low 40s at night. Perfect weather, in my opinion, to do things, to get things done. Absolutely perfect because you can get things done, you can get things squared away, but you're not sweating to death. You're not having to take a million and one breaks. Um, you know, 80K man said, I definitely had enough of winter. I was talking to a guy today, and he was saying this winter that we just had here was probably the worst winter that we've had in 12 years down here. He said, oh, way back when, he said, we used to get really bad winters. He's, somebody that's locally from here. He said, we used to get really bad winters. He goes, not anymore. He goes, not anymore. So I'm like, that's cool. So, but, that's just, excuse me. That's just all part of it. It's just you never know what's going to happen. Here's a Do you think a U.S. Iran war is in? You know what, Alex? I don't know. Hard to say. Um, there's a lot. Like I said, there's so many games being played constantly. I think the last thing we need is to get involved in another conflict. And of course, it'll be spun a certain way to make it look like we're not the bad guys, that we're not the aggressor. You know, they're always going to be whoever we decide who the enemy is going to be, meaning the United States. Um, it's always going to be that way. It's always going to be that way. They're always going to, spin it the way they want to spin it, sell it to us so that we get on board. And I just, you know, I'm tired of our young men and women dying for the elites and the rich. I'm tired of it. And for whatever political or minerals or whatever the case may be, you know, I just like I said, I don't buy any of it anymore. I like the idea of being an isolationist country. We take care of our own, which was long over what should be being focused on. You know, and people will say, well, we need to blah blah. No, we don't. We don't trade with people. There's that old saying that I think it was Teddy Roosevelt said it. He said, "Walk softly and carry a big stick." Okay, take care of our business, have a strong military. Somebody screws around, do what you got to do. But to manufacture stuff for conflicts, because who who wins in a war? Let's think about this, right? Who wins in a war? Well, first of all, big business always wins in a war. Always. They never do well in war. If they're on the winning side, the losing side, big business is always going to make money. And then, they're, you know, your defense stocks do fantastic if there's a war. It's so you look at the whole thing with Israel and Gaza, right? Israel had walked in there and was absolutely decimating them. And then all of a sudden they stopped. Here, we're going to stop here. We're not going to attack anymore. Well, we're going to attack, but we're not going to continue to just steamroll like they were doing. And they use every excuse. Oh, well, because it's a big population. They didn't give a crap about that. Look how many people they killed already, right? They were doing it too fast, realistically, and somebody basically said, put the brakes on. We got to drag this out, because the longer we can drag it out. I mean, I'm not saying that that's exactly what happened, but it sure looks like that, right? How do you go from steamrolling this group of people, then all of a sudden you just stop and you don't finish off that last enclave of where, that's where all these people are? You know, I just, I don't buy it. I just don't buy it. And then what happens then, right? You have all they have these hostages, right? I think they still have an American hostage, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I still think that there's one more American hostage. Why are we allowing that, right? Why do we ever allow this kind of stuff to go on? You put pressure on people. You say, if you don't do this, this is what the consequences are, period. And then it's just like with a child, guys. It's the same thing with a child. If you're the parent, like America is like the parent, right? And if you don't do what we say, there's consequences for your actions. And if you don't follow through with your threats, then your word means nothing. It means nothing. So, like, you have a child and you say, if you touch that again, I'm going to smack your hand. And the kid keeps touching it. I'm telling you, I'm going to smack your hand. And then they never do. That kid isn't going to listen to you, because he knows he can do whatever he wants and get away with it. But the first time you say to that kid, if you touch that again, I'm smacking your hand, and he touches it again, you give him a smack on that hand, they don't touch it again. They go, ooh, mom or dad, when they say that's it, that's it. So it's the same thing with these other smaller countries. You don't think we can just push our way around? We do it now, okay? Inside these countries. I mean, guys, look at what happened. I mean, the perfect example, absolutely perfect example is Muammar Gaddafi, right? I mean, look at that situation. We decided one day Muammar Gaddafi's a bad dude, and so you don't think that we weren't involved in the uprising within his country? And look at how he went down. I mean, it was not a pretty situation the way he went down. You know, don't you dare, don't you dare take yourself off the field and try to trade oil in gold. Don't you dare do that. How-to videos. Ed, my 401 take took a 12% hit on Friday due to market drop in fear. And you know what? The best thing to do, like I said, again, you can't watch that type of stuff. You just have to leave it alone because I'm going to tell you what the rich are going to do. How-to videos, they can absorb those type of losses, and what they do then is once the market drops to a certain point, they start buying again. That's all. Yeah, and tomorrow should be another day where there's going to be more sell-off, and it's all fear-based. It's all fear-based. You know. Yep. Let it ride. Selling lacks the loss. Um, you know, it's it's a manipulation in a game. It's all the whole thing is a manipulation in a game. So yeah, I know that. I think the futures are down like 1,000 points. Actually, I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna look at it right now. I'm gonna look at it right now, but I do believe they were down like 1,000 points. 1,200 points. Yep. Yeah. Dow futures fall 1,200 points. So when it opens tomorrow, it should be a very interesting opening. So, but like I said, I'm not risking my life savings in the stock market. A lot of people have a lot of money tied up in the stock market. And so, when the market's going up and it's doing great, they go, "Oh, fantastic! Everything's beautiful, wonderful," and was down 1,500 earlier. Okay, it's gonna do what it's gonna do, But if you look at it long term, if you just leave it alone, I would, like I said, I was talking to my daughter, and what I said to her: buy stocks. If you buy stocks, do dividend reinvestment stock purchase programs. It's the best way to do it because you're not making a broker rich. You buy your initial share, or like even if you buy one share, 5 shares, or 10 shares through that broker, and then reinvest the rest of that money automatically. All your dividends get automatically reinvested to buy more stock, and then you can buy stock directly from the companies. That's the way to do it. You're going to do better in the long run, and then you just let it grow. Especially for somebody young, like my daughter's 23 years old. I mean, in the long run, the stock markets do better. So you get into stocks that are stable. You get into your pharmaceuticals, your oils, your utilities, right? Get into those stocks. And, like I said, I liked Altira. It used to be Philip Morris. I've always liked them. I've done very well with that stock. And then when they split the company up, then I had a whole bunch of other things with it. So, I mean, look at the people that got into Microsoft in the beginning. Look how well they did. Look at the people that got into different stuff. So, yep, dividend reinvestment program. Exactly. That's what you want to, if you're going to do it. So, but and it cuts out all the middlemen and all those fees and your broker, because like your broker is going to want you to buy and sell. He's going to call you up and go, oh, hey, look at, you need to do this or you need to do that. I'm going to follow Nancy Pelosi. That's who I'm going to follow. Whatever Nancy Pelosi's doing, she's beating the market by a whole lot. Yeah, Chevron was one of the ones that I had. Always paid a great dividend. Um, and the thing is, no matter how much they beat their chest and scream green, 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 Oil ain't going nowhere. So, but Billy says, in my opinion, the market's headed much lower. This is just beginning. In my opinion, the market's been overbought for years. For years. Okay. So, a correction is needed. Yes. So, that's I've been watching the market and I'm going, man, it's just there's no way that it can keep going and going and going like it's going without a correction. And then what happens? The people get scared, they sell off, and they take whatever percentage of loss in their mind, right? So Pelosi's insider trading school is only 10,000 for a course. That's funny. Yeah, everybody knows how she did it. So yeah, there's an app. I know there is 80K minute, which is funny. These guys in California started mirroring her investments, and they've done very well with that. Yeah, anybody that beats the market like she beats the market, you gotta love it, right? Follow the politicians, all right? Always follow the money. They know, they absolutely know. So, well, like I said, again, it comes down to, like I said, two things drive the market: fear and greed, and that's it. Always going to be that way. Um, like I said, for me personally, and I have a little bit in the stock market, not a lot, but I rather would have tangible goods, which tangible goods are stuff that I can put my hands on, that I have, that I can use, that I could trade if I needed to trade them. That's what I want, you know. And I'm going to tell you what, when the time comes, folks, and it's a matter of time, right? I mean, it's so many variables of things that could happen. So many variables. Okay, well, what are we doing, right? Where's this headed? Where's it going? What could possibly go wrong? There's so many things that could possibly go wrong. And yeah, intangible goods are going up. Exactly. Exactly. Ed, how likely is the next fall the stock market and World War III connected? I don't. I don't. I'm hoping that we don't have no World War III. If we have a World War III, folks, if they decide to go nuclear, nobody wins. Nobody wins in that situation. So you gotta, you got. I mean, there's two countries. We'll talk about two countries right now that nobody talks about that are both nuclear, that both don't like each other, right? And that would be, I think it's India and Pakistan. Is it Pakistan? I believe it's Pakistan. Let me just look real quick. I mean, these two countries just don't like each other, and they're both nuclear. Let me just see. I'm trying to see if anybody else is saying it is correct. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. I just want to double. Yeah, Pakistan. Yep. 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 They've had a lot of conflicts between those two countries. They're both nuclear. Okay. India has nuclear weapons, Pakistan has nuclear weapons, and they don't like each other. And then India has issues with China as well. And India is now has taken over, is the most populous country in the world. I don't know if people even realize that. People don't even realize that. But it was because China had the one child policy, so they screwed themselves instead of saying, "Hey, multiply and be fruitful," which there's still a lot of Chinese people. Don't get me wrong, but whenever you get the government involved to the extent that they are in some of these countries, you're in deep crap. You know what I mean? You really are in deep crap. I mean, like I said, I would not want to see any kind of nuclear war. So How much nuclear weapons does Pakistan? I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't follow it that closely, but I know that, like I said, most likely if India is setting off nukes, they're setting them off to Pakistan, and Pakistan would go right back at them. And like I said, none of those type of situations ever end well. They never end well. I think what people are not thinking about, right? There's a polar shift involved going on right now as well. There is a polar shift. They've proven that the poles are shifting. So what could be a direct result of something like that? What do we got? We got 234 in the chat, guys. We're at 104 thumbs up. So if you have not, the goal is going to be 200 because why not? So if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. I do appreciate that ahead of time. Thank you. It really does make a huge difference with the algorithms as well. And if I get to 200 thumbs up, I'll shut up and won't ask for any more. See, it's simple. It works out great. So the sooner everybody throws that thumbs up, then we're done. India also has a decent sized navy, including an aircraft carrier. Yeah, they're like I said, when you look at all the things with the militaries, ours is by far one of the biggest. Now, China, I think, has surpassed us as far as the navy goes. They keep building ships like unbelievable. Keep building ships. So that's something to also pay attention to longer term. If you can control the seas, that's a big difference. So, but anyway, the whole polar shift things, what also precipitates that? What else what else is going to happen with that? I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. There's always volcanic activity. Okay, that's just something that's always going on. There's always something, but it seems lately, and tell me if I'm wrong on this. There seems to be a lot more volcanic activity than there used to be. You have a lot of dormant volcanoes that have been dormant for a long time are starting to wake up and get active again. And I'll tell you what, I saw a thing, and I just was like, insane thinking, insane thinking. China has only passed the U.S. by tonnage, but lag in tech. I gotcha. All right, thank you. But we're in the process of retiring a lot of ships, and they just keep building them. So, like I said, that's also something that we absolutely should pay attention to. But anyway, I saw this article, and it was like, should we? And again, it goes into the insanity of global warming, right? Should we wake up some of these volcanoes? And if we did wake up these volcanoes, how would we go about it to make sure we put a bunch of stuff in the upper atmosphere to cool the planet down because it's heating up so much? I don't know if you guys have saw anything like that, but I saw that and I'm like, what kind of lunatic, right? What kind of lunatic would want to wake up some of these volcanoes? I mean, some of these volcanoes are no joke. They are absolutely no joke, especially the super volcanoes. They're a ticking time bomb. So it is a matter of time, not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, with some of these volcanoes, of when they're going to go. And, a lot more earthquakes going on. Well, a lot of instability, Bobby. That's the problem. It's a lot of instability because there is a pole shift in place and it's happening. So, like I said, it's like, people will say, well, this happens, that's game over, and there's nothing you can do about it. And you're right. You can't prepare. I don't think anybody can really, unless you're the government, right? You couldn't prepare for a 10-year event where you would be in winter for 10 years straight if one of these super volcanoes went off, or even a 5-year. I mean, think about right now. Think about right now. Winter sucks. We deal with it. It's a few months of the year, 3-4 months, especially if you live in New York, it could be 6 months of the year. But but you deal with it. You don't like it, but then you get some nice weather, and you makes you feel better and all that type of stuff. I couldn't imagine, because of a volcanic eruption, having winter for years straight. I mean, that would be bad. That would be really, really bad, because so many things would be affected by that. And you really can't prepare for that. You really can't. Nobody has that kind of money to put those kind of supplies aside, medical, you know, protection, food, you know, everything that would go with it. So it's like, you have to kind of go, okay, let's not think about that, because that's a game changer. That's the end of the world as we know it. There's not a whole lot we would be able to do with that. At Mount St. Helens affected the whole world back then, no bigger than a super volcano. Uh, at Mount St. Helen affected the whole world back then, no bigger than it was, so a super volcano will do it too. Yeah, a super volcano would definitely have a much more far-reaching effect than a Mount St. Helens. A Mount St. Helens was nothing, in comparison to one of these super volcanoes. It's not even in the same ballpark of how much stuff would be thrown into the upper atmosphere. But like I said, again, when I talk about these things, you know, I don't, you know, like I said, certain things are game changers where we're probably gonna. When you look at, okay, you look back at Toba. I think it was Toba. When Toba erupted, what, 80,000 years ago? I think it was. They said Toba erupted 80,000 years ago. The entire human population on the planet went down to less than 10,000 people. And I want you to think about that. What do we got? 7 billion people on the planet, something to that, like that number. And in this type of an event, if you had a super volcano erupt, and it wouldn't be right away. So I don't want people to think that all of a sudden, boom, here we are. Oh my God, now it's dark and it would take time. If you were in the area where the volcano erupted, obviously you're going to be affected immediately. But when you're looking at, you like, if something happened in Europe, one of the super volcanoes went and had a huge eruption in Europe or in Asia, you're looking at about 6 weeks, and then you're going to start really seeing the difference, and the clouds are going to come in, and the weather's going to change. So you're going to have a window of opportunity. But I want you to think about this. What do you think about this? What do you think the government would do in that situation? Right? They would tell you to remain calm. Let's not get upset. Let's not do this. Let's not do that. Just be calm. Everything's going to be fine. We're going to take care of everything. You would want to be stuck, and they would control the amount of food that you could purchase. They would limit what you could purchase. It wouldn't be like now, where if I decide to go anywhere and pick up whatever I want, they're going to sell it to me. Okay. Yeah, shelter in place, exactly. Um, but yeah, and the government would be underground and not help us. Oh, they would be taking care of themselves. Trust me, they already have places in place for the right people to survive whatever may happen. And trust me, that's exactly what they will do, in those type of situations. They will take care of their own. They're not going to worry about all us peons. We'll be left at our own devices. And, so I think with modern man and the technology that we have, more people would survive, because different governments around the world, they're already prepared for these type of scenarios. They are. You may not think so, but they absolutely are ready. If X, Y, or Z happens, these many people are going to ground, and we're going to survive. That's what they're going to do. Trust me, they don't give a crap about the rest of us. So, like I said, when I say we're on our own, we're on our own. I mean, you look at, terrorist attacks and stuff like that. They happen. They haven't stopped happening. you know Maybe things are being cut off at the pass and stopped and all this type of stuff right now, but again, we don't know. So we just, like I said, my thing is, like I said, I'm always been a glass half full guy. I don't look at a glass that's half empty and go, oh, get that, oh God, it's half empty already. I go, well, it's half full, you know, and you just do the best that you can. With whatever time, just do the best that you can. And that's like with what we're doing here. I will tell you, if you have a group, and I will tell you what happened with our group, and it happens. I don't care what group you have. So everybody in the beginning, I got a hair. There we go. When I look in here, it's on this side, and then I'll go to do that side, but it's on the other side. So it just I don't know. Anyway, it's a reverse effect. When we first got together as a group, everybody's like super gung ho. Yes, I want to be a prepper. I want to be part of a group and blah, 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 blah. Okay. A lot of groups don't make it. A lot of groups do not make it because what happens is over time, people get distracted with other things. What, my dear? What? Hmm? What do you want? Do you want to go outside? Do you want to go outside? Huh? Or you just want love? I don't know. I don't know what you want. I don't know what you want. You can go outside? She's not. Usually she'll jump down. Okay, stop. Okay, hold on, guys. I'm gonna let her out. Go. No. All right. Somebody remind me in like 10 minutes, otherwise I'll forget about the dog because I'll get talking and I won't be thinking about the dog. So, anyway, so you got a group. Everybody's gung ho in the beginning, and then people get distracted. They get starting to think of what else they want to do and all those type of things, and they just so some people will lose interest. It's part of life. It's just reality. It's absolutely real. You'll have some people that'll be locked in from day one, and they're locked in and they're good to go. But not everybody's going to be that way. So we kind of got a little bit distracted with some other stuff and kind of got away from a few things. And so we beginning of this year, we basically I talked to a lot of the group members, and we had some discussions that we needed to have, trying to refocus, and that's what we've done, now, and we're getting on the right track again. But it's easy to go off the rails, but you got to refocus, and you just look at the situation, and like I said, with what we're trying to get done here and get accomplished down here. um, she sends DJ the egg count, and then DJ reminds it to let her in. Oh my God, that's funny. Um, it's like I said, it's one of those things. But with what we're getting accomplished, I'm really happy with the direction we're going and what we're got going on. The weekend coming up, Billy. So not obviously it wasn't this weekend. It'll be next weekend. Everybody will be coming in on Friday. Saturday we got several projects that we want to get going. We getting ready for the new bees coming in, and so we're changing location where beehives are at, and hopefully that will be better. And a priority list according to the finances of the group. Exactly. That's exactly 80K, man. Well, like I did the prep work, a lot of the prep stuff. I went out and got all the lumber that we needed. One of the guys in the group figured out what we needed for the build of the shower room. So I went out and got that lumber, and we already have the metal here for the roof. So the game plan is to get the shower room built, get the roof on it. If we'll have to go out and get ply for the walls when we get to that point. And hopefully we'll do that this coming weekend, be able to run out, go grab that once we get that point done. We have to get the bees stuff set up. We're getting 3 hives, so we need to get that set up and get that ready. The other project is the pavilion, starting to do more stuff in the pavilion. So it's just just trying to get things lined up and squared away before the snow flies. Okay, so the like with the pavilion, before the snow flies, the goal is to get the rest of the ceiling, the 3/4 plywood on top, because storage is going to be above. Okay, so get the rest of that in up there, insulate underneath, put a ceiling in, get that done, insulate under the floor, and and get that. We'll probably go underneath the floor. We're going to use rock wool insulation again, and then just like a chicken wire, and that will be fine underneath. That's what I did with my property in New York, and it's worked great for years. It's not an issue. But did they raise the prices of bees this year? I hear the die off has been very, very bad. The die off has been extremely bad. No, actually the price of the bees did not go up. So I'm hoping that everything goes well. Instead of now, normally the bees would be coming in like the second weekend of April. They're not coming in until the end of April. So where would we go during a World War III nuclear war, Ed? There's no civil bunkers in America. I know, isn't that weird, Alex, how we don't really have anything like that set up? Other countries do. Other countries do. So what do we got? 264 in the chat. We're at 158. We need 42 more thumbs up. So how long before you collect honey? We'll talk about that in just a second, Mary. So 42 more thumbs up. And so if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please. So we hit 200. I'll shut up about it. So I do appreciate that. Like I said, it really does make a huge difference with the algorithms. Also, again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you get the bell icon to get all notifications as well. And as far as collecting honey, it depends on the hive. Now, the hive that I had last year, it was a good hive. It was a strong hive. I actually was able to collect like 9.5 pounds of honey out of that hive before the fall. And then you leave the two lower boxes full. You don't touch those. That's for the bees. And so when the bees died, and it was pretty probably because of the cold weather, that's why they died. So when the bees died, what ended up happening was I ended up collecting, there was like another 22, 23 pounds of honey that I collected out of that hive. And so, that's a lot of honey, realistically. I would rather have had the bees survive and, had no honey left from that, and then they could restore and rebuild, but it happens. Oh yeah, let me check on Hella real quick. Hold on. Come on, baby girl. Come on, Hella. Where you at, girl? There she is. Come on, baby. Take your time. I'm not doing a live stream or nothing. Go at your own pace. Go at your own pace. Don't rush on my account. I just think I'm her professional doorman. That's what I am for that dog. My dog's ears went up when it's funny. So, but anyway, so it just, like I said, as far as the bees go, we got a different plan for them this year. We're going to put them in a different spot. We're going to, when the winter comes, we're going to insulate the hives with foam board insulation. We're going to try that this year, making sure they still have plenty of airflow, and just kind of go from there and just see what happens. So, but hopefully it all works out good, and that they're going to be fine, and we'll see what happens. I mean, all we can do is try again. I would like to get it to a point where we have, the hives doing well and surviving, and we're getting a good amount of honey. So time will tell. Time will tell. So all right, so we're gonna 22 away now. We need 22 more thumbs up, guys. So again, if you have not done that, let's keep that going. Get me to shut up. I would like to have me shut up as far as the thumbs up goes. So, all right, let's do this. Let's do egg count. How many eggs today? And yes or no for Miss Betty White. So I'm going to give you guys a moment to get your guesses in. Let's keep those thumbs up coming, and we will go from there. So, where's DJs? And I don't see him guessing. What happened? Not in the chat tonight. I hope he's okay. Murray says whatever DJ guesses. That's funny. Whatever DJ said, but faster. That's funny. Yeah, he didn't guess tonight. I don't think he guessed tonight. Let me look back here and see. I don't think he guessed. No, he didn't. He's not in the chat tonight. What? I hope he's not sick. So, that's weird. All right. Well, we do have a winner. If you had the same exact, he was in earlier. Yeah, I don't know what happened to him then. Okay. If you had the same exact and I hope I don't butcher your last name too badly, Mary Vitalo. Mary Vitalo guessed 5 eggs today, and yes for Miss Betty White, and she was 100% correct. All 5 birds laid today. So congratulations to Mary. You've won absolutely nothing, but you are happy about it. So there you go. And I think that's a first time. I'm guaranteed that's a first time win right there. I don't recall ever saying that name before. So lots of storms, so we might not have power. I gotcha. So Mary, tell me if I said your name wrong. I think it was Vitalo. So anyway, yeah, they did good today. I was really surprised. Well, like I said, yes, I said it wrong. I figured I did. Sorry, Mary. But you got the gist and you know who I meant. So there we go. Well, it's funny, like my last name is very phonetic. Very phonetic. One fallout shelter in Cleveland, Ohio. Old steel mill under the old 80-inch mills. Okay. Thank you for that information, C. Ray Radcliffe, and thank you very much for the donation. I do appreciate that. But yeah, it's just as far as those type of things, guys, we are on our own as far as shelters go. We got to watch out for ourselves. Like I said, I I've always talked about it. My affinity moment, my wake up call, if you will, was Hurricane Katrina. And I saw the government's response of what happened down there in Louisiana and all those areas, and how the people came together, and how the Cajun Navy went in and and helped and did the right thing and all those type of things, and the government's thing that they did was disarm people. Think about that, right? You've been down there, you're on your own, and what happens? They go in, the government comes in and says, okay, give us your weapons now. And that's how you were protecting yourselves, in that time frame. So it's absolutely nuts. So I realized right then and there, don't ever, ever, ever rely on the government. Wake up from that and go, I just it's and again, for me, that at that time, the twins were 4 years old, right? The twins were 4. You had, Josh was 10, and I had a stay-at-home wife, and I'm going, oh my God, if something happens, we're in deep crap. I got to do. It's my responsibility, as the head of household, to make sure that my family's taken care of. I'll tell you one of the things. my ex used to say to me. She said, I know why you do what you do, as far as preparedness goes. She goes, in the way that I look at it, she was never really big into joining me with preparedness, but she was supportive of why I was doing it. She said to me, I'm trying to remember how she goes, the way that I look at it, she goes, there's worse hobbies to have, because everybody's got a hobby. You can call it a hobby or whatever. To me, it's a passion, a lifestyle, and it's been my focus ever since then. And obviously, I've taken it up a few notches through the years, but it just, I just don't want to rely on the system. I just don't. I want to try to be as independent as I possibly can be within reason, obviously. We'd have to rely on the system for certain things. It's just the way that it is. But if something happens, I want to be in a position where I go, I don't care. I don't care. I can just take care of my business and I don't have to worry about it. We need one more, guys. We're at 199. So goal is 200, and looks like obviously we're going to get there. So that's awesome. But again, there we are. 200 thumbs up. Awesome. A lot of things are going on. Don't the things that they want you to be distracted with, that's not what you need to be focusing on. Okay, stock market's going to do what the stock market's going to do. At the end of the day, the average person that doesn't have a ton of money in the stock market is not really affected by the stock market. Now, if you have all your eggs in one basket, that's a different situation. And I get that. Okay, I get that. But you know, Jane D says, I'm late to prepping just since 2020. Well, you know what? Better late than never. And that's still 5 years ago. So you got a heads up on a whole lot of people, Janie. So don't sell yourself short. Don't sell yourself short. Like I said, anybody that does anything is better than nothing. And over time, it gets better and better. So, but yeah, well, like I said, I'm gonna watch the stock market too tomorrow, and just out of curiosity to see what it does. But I don't care, honestly, personally, I don't care because that's not where yeah, and people should be buying the dip. Yes, Ed, but don't take it for granted. The fall of the stock market has historically caused many to commit suicide. Oh, absolutely. No, a lot because again, JJ, you're right. Greed and fear, greed and fear, that's what it's all about with the stock market. And like I said, it's you can't, you know you have to, things change, things are always going to change. I mean, look what's happened with JJ. I mean, who would have ever thought health wise the crap that poor JJ has gone through. You want to talk about getting a crappy end of the deal. I mean, that's a crappy end of the deal. But again, excuse me, your attitude will always go a long way towards how things go. If you go, oh, poor me, and why did this happen to me, and oh my God, and blah, 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 it's about staying positive. You got to stay positive. And, it sucks at times. Absolutely, it sucks at times. But, like with JJ, he's still here, he's still kicking. Got a really cool scar. Couple of them now. Couple of new cool scars. So, Ed, did you see that starting in 2026, you can no longer build a house in New York State with any fossil fuels in it? It has to be all electric with 400 amp entrance and built-in car exchanges. Unbelievable. I did not see that. Doesn't surprise me. 80 came in, and again, there's another reason why I am not in New York. I mean, if the stock market crashed, could that cause a SHTF? God, hard to say. It's hard to say. I mean, it would be an accumulation of things if the stock market crashed. But again, the stock market's crashed before, and you know, Yeah, Sonya's saying I wouldn't sell my positions. I'll just wait till it goes back up. Exactly. And that's kind of what you got to do. You got to have that. You got to have that perseverance and go. All right, I'm going to just stand pat. I'm just going to sit here and ride it out because, like I said, the stock market's going to do what the stock market's going to do, and that's just over the course of time. That's what it's always done. So you can't look at it like, and I know people look at it exactly like, well, I've lost this much. You can't look at it that way. You just have to go, well, it's all part of it. 60% of the people do not have $1 in the market. Exactly. So for most people, they're not going to be affected by it, no matter what it does, because you still got to go to work, you still got to pay your bills, you still got to get food, you still got to get gasoline. So it's just what it is. I mean, it's kind of scary if you look at it, and it isn't, and it's like what they're trying to, I love how, oh, because of the tariffs, this is all because of the tariffs. um, it's just part of the game, guys. It's all part of the game, and in the long run, the tariffs are a good thing. They really are. It's making these other countries pay their fair share, and why shouldn't they? Why should we be the only ones paying all the time? The reciprocal tariffs, I think that that's perfect. You don't like the tariffs that we're now going to impose on you, then take the ones off of us and we'll take the ones off of you. Tell me that's not fair. They can only tariff us, but we can't tariff them. So, but oh yeah, there's a lot of retirement funds, like that have a lot of money into, you know, the pension funds have a lot of money in the stock market, and that, yeah, that will absolutely be affected. But like I said, I just, again, you control what you can control. Add your thoughts on the hands-off protest. I think it was drummed up like it was some kind of great big thing, and it turned out to be a big nothing burger. JJ, they're idiots. They're idiots. So, oh yeah, I see that Britain is now talking about, make Great Britain great again. When you have parasites come into your country and suck off the system and suck off the hardworking people, right? The hardworking people get tired of that crap in a hurry. Really get tired of it, and why wouldn't they? You know, yeah, that whole hands-off protest. That's just the liberals trying to, they're trying now to say, which I think is very very funny. They're trying to like, oh, there's a lot of dissension with the Republicans. No, they're not. No, there's not. Yeah, paid protesters, exactly, Dale. Um, there is not dissension within the people. If people that voted for Trump is doing exactly what we wanted him to do. Trump is doing exactly what he was elected to do. He went in saying, if you elect me president, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this. And that's exactly what he's done. And so the left is trying to make like, oh my God. And I want you to tell you, so, oh, he's going to take Social Security. He's going to do this. And he hasn't done any of that. So he's gone into Social Security and found fraud. Oh no, no, he's going to stop us from stealing. Come on, you know what I mean? Grandpa Smith, who gets his piddly little Social Security check every month, is still going to get his check. He's not doing anything to stop that. So he's gone in and found the fraud, and that's what they're going after. And they should. And they should go to every. Think about what departments they've gone into so far. Department of Education, right? They've gone into USAID. Now they're going into, the Social Security system and doing that. Think about all the other ones out there, guys. How many departments that are out there that they haven't even gone into yet? How much fraud is going on in those and theft, right? And if they continue to do what they're doing and methodically go, it'll be trillions. It'll be trillions of dollars that they're going to save the American people. I'm sorry, did I get a vote that said, hey, Would you like to see Sesame Street in Iraq? I don't give a crap about Iraq. I'll be honest with you, I don't. I don't give a one rat's patootie about Iraq. So I don't want my tax dollars that I'm having to spend and put in there go for crap like that. And that's what they're getting rid of. And I say, good. Let it keep going like that. He did cut the food banks. It's having uh, repercussions locally. Did not see that. He may have. I don't know. A lot of people are using food banks, and I know that right now. A lot of people are using, and they have been for a while, because the food prices have gotten to be outrageous. So it's tough, man. It's tough all over. A lot of people are suffering. It's not easy on anybody, to be honest with you, except for the rich. Rich don't care. They got enough money. They don't ever give a crap. But you just have to be, like I said, control what you can control. Food is never going to be cheaper than it is today. Remember that. I've said that how many times through the years. And wow, lo and behold, I'm usually right when I say these type of things. 2 million pounds of food cut from Central New York food banks. Okay. Well, I mean, it happens. But if we take care of our own people and not a bunch of foreigners that came in that want to live off of us, uh, you know, why are our veterans not being taken care of, that have issues, that have problems, that are living on the streets? Why are they not being put up in hotels? Why are they not being given the best medical care possible? Or given the opportunity to get the help that they need to deal with what they need to deal with. You know, so that's just me. If you want to come into this country and do it the right way, I have absolutely no problem whatsoever with anybody doing that. But I do have a problem with people coming in here illegally, and then you get these liberal lunatics go, "Oh, well, we need to take care of everybody." No, we don't. We just don't. A channel I watch, Auntie Mama Kitchen, she uses a food bank all the time. Okay, so, but yeah, it's insanity with what goes on. We need to focus on America. That's what we should be focusing on. End of story. That's just my take on it. You guys can think whatever you want, and that's perfectly fine. But I think we need to be focusing on America, and that's it. The heck with these other countries. I'm sorry. Wish you the best of luck. If you need us, give us a call. But we got to stop. We just got to stop. We can't keep doing it. So if we're borrowing money, supposedly, see again, I just think that whole thing, in my opinion, is a big Ponzi scheme. It's a big Ponzi scheme. Oh, we're paying over $1 trillion a year for interest to China. Okay, okay, whatever you say, whatever you say. It's a manipulation. It's just a manipulation. So, but like I said, stock up, do what you can do, control what you can control, and be ready. That's all any of us can do. Just be as ready as we can be. So, anyway, guys, I am going to jump off here for now. I'm going to leave you with this thought, right? STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you are trying to do, whatever you are trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only one that is going to stop you from achieving your goals is you. That's it, nobody else. If you stay positive and stay away from the negativity, you're going to be just fine. The key is setting realistic goals that you can meet. That's it. Simple. Like my goal today, right? My goal today was to get the rest of that insulation that I had into the pavilion and get the plastic vapor barrier up on the walls. And I achieved that goal. And it took a while, but I spent more time moving crap around than actually putting the insulation in. That's what took the longest amount of time, is moving everything. But the pavilion looks really clean right now. But anyway, it's just set those goals and then make them happen. And if it doesn't happen that day, you finish it up on another day. Simple, but get it done. Okay. So anyway, guys, hope you have a great night. I will talk to you all later. Prepper Nurse One out for now.